Well, that was an exciting victory for the Edmonton Oilers, 3-2 in overtime against the Calgary Flames. Another dagger in the heart of the Flames' playoff hopes as Edmonton gets it done on the back of a big night from Leon Draisaitl. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show. Tom Gazzola with you inside the EST Satellite Studios in downtown Edmonton. And then you've got Hernan Salas back at EST Global HQ. Matt Cassian joining us as well in due time to break it all down as Edmonton gets off the schneid, snaps a bit of a losing streak, and puts a dagger, like I said, into the hearts of their provincial rivals. And nobody feels bad for the Calgary Flames. Not in this city, I tell you what. Yes, indeed. 3-2 in OT. Of course, GCL Diesel, presenting sponsor of the Oil Stream pre- and post-game show and providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors. They are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years. You can text us. Tell us your thoughts on the Oilers' 3-2 OT win via the inbox, 780-218-9999. If you're watching on YouTube, get into the nasty chat. Let us know what you think about that win. Are you concerned that it was only a 3-2 win in OT? Are you happy it was a 3? Were there elements of the game that satisfied you? Is it just because Leon Draisaitl came back? I mean, you could make a case that maybe it is. We want to hear your thoughts as Edmonton does pick up a pair of points, which is important as the team progresses and is en route to a postseason berth. By the way, I will add this. The LA Kings dropped another game today, just the fourth time in regulation on home ice, losing to the Toronto Maple Leafs 3-1. So now Edmonton and LA tied again, this time at 89 points. Edmonton has played one more game than the Kings. Hernan Salas back at EST Global HQ. Nancito, what did you think about that Oilers win tonight?
Yeah, good. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of unhappy fans. I don't get it. Listen, I still think.
Let me show you my surprised face.
The off the rush stuff is getting concerning.
Yes.
But they won the game, and that's what matters. Was there some bad in it? 100% there was. The second goal, Emerson fumbles it at the offensive blue line. Yes. That can't happen. The first goal, I kind of want to get Cass's thoughts on that too, because I saw some people blaming Bouchard, but I look at it more as a forward. Kind of gets kind of puck watching.
Max there. Jones, that's Max Jones on that.
That's Max Jones.
Come on, guys.
Yeah, he's just staring at the puck and lets his man go there. All in all, though, Tom, I mean, Pickard's solid. We saw some feistiness. We saw Bouchard muck it up there with Uyghur. Thought Darnell Nurse was excellent on the night. I mean, Leon, the tying goal is just ridiculous. Like, oh, man, what a player. Saw how happy he was for his 50th and then wins it in overtime. Leon, MVP for me of the season. He's been absolutely fantastic. He's just imagine where this team would be without him right now.
Oh, boy.
But more important, 2 points, Tom. You create more of a gap with the teams that were. I was looking at the stands, I was like, oh, they're a lot closer than I thought they will, and they keep pace with the LA Kings, which is solid, and for the confidence. And I know people are upset about no one else is scoring and all that. It'll all work itself.
What else is new?
Yeah. I mean, before the Leon goal, I was like, man, the last 3 games they haven't scored a lot, but that line too, Tom, Podkolzin, Arvidsson, Draisaitl, awesome on the night. Very good night for those three. Very good. So, on a Saturday night, Tom, after the snow dump we got after the last couple of games, be happy. You beat the Calgary freaking Flames in overtime, and you get 2 more points.
Yes, indeed. All right, before we get to our game analyst, Matt Cassian, let's go through tonight's scoring summary. In the first period, Yegor Sharangovich is 13th of the year from Kadri and Pahal. And it was on a rush. We know the Oilers are not good at defending off the rush. Max Jones does not pick up his man, and Sharangovich buries the rebound after the Kadri shot and Pickard save. That one coming at 4:32. To the second period we go. Victor Arvidsson would get the equalizer. Arvidsson's 11th of the season from Draisaitl and Nurse on a nice feed from Draisaitl. Arvidsson beating Wolf short side at 16-20, 1-1 after 2 in the final frame. Again off the rush. Another guy who didn't play in the Flames game as a healthy scratch on Thursday, just like Sharon Govich. Braden Pahal is the trailer. He's the last man, doesn't get picked up, and he buries his third of the season from Kadri at 7:55. The Oilers looking dire. They got a lot of chances in that third period. They really did. I thought they were generating. I thought they were buzzing. They just couldn't finish. A couple times they passed up some nice opportunities. I think of Arvidsson on one in particular. Tried to find Draisaitl, even though he had the puck on his backhand, right in the slot. Had some craziness and scrambling happening in front of Wolf, and he decides to try a back pass blindly to Draisaitl. It didn't work. But it would be Draisaitl snapping home his 50th of the year at 16:48 from Bouchard and Nurse to get the Oilers even up with the Flames and send this one into overtime and in OT. The Oilers get a save from Pickard. They hold the fort in their own zone when Calgary had possession. And then you get Jeff Skinner feeding Leon Draisaitl after he scooped up the puck and got it to Skinner. They go in 3-on-2. Bouchard, the other guy on the far side, and Draisaitl just gets into the slot, snaps it, posting in, blocker side, similar. Good shot, same type of shot, but from a different angle to his first goal. He gets the second of the night, 51st of the year. Welcome back, Leon, at 2:25. Play La Bamba, baby. The Oilers win it 3-2 in OT. Final shots on goal, 29-28 in favor of the Oilers. Face-off percentage, 57.1 for Edmonton to Calgary's 42.9. Power play, didn't do much, 0 for 1, didn't look great. And then the PK goes 3 for 3, so that's a nice bounce back for the penalty kill. Hits 19-18 in favor of the Flames. Block shots 21-19 in favor of the Flames. Giveaways 19 for Edmonton, 12 for Calgary. Takeaways 8 for Edmonton, 4 for Calgary. 3-2 is your final as we get to Matt Cassian. And before we get to the breakdown, I will give you the Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy turning point of the game, because at Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy, we treat you like the pros. Our multidisciplinary team includes sports medicine physicians along with highly skilled physiotherapists, strength and conditioning coaches, and massage therapists. If you have a nagging pain you'd like to see go away, book your consultation today at www.advantagesportsmed.ca. I'm going to point out this one. There was a great save by Calvin Pickard on the is it the Farabee breakaway, makes one stop, makes the second stop. I thought that was huge. It was even up at 1 at that point. And then obviously Draisaitl scoring the equalizer and the game-winning goal in OT were clutch as well. So kind of two-part Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy turning points of the game. All right, let's get to Matt Cassian as we get you into the breakdown, brought to you as always by South Fort Chev. We are officially in truck month, which comes with deeper discounts, lower interest rates on Silverados and HDs, 0% for up to 72 months on Silverado Custom and Custom Trail Boss. The Silverado is built in Canada, 90-day payment deferral or $10,000 cash back with the purchase of a new vehicle. Conditions do apply. See dealer for details, www.southfortchev.com. Drive a little, save a lot at South Fort Chev. Cass, I am laughing because they're showing previous battles of Alberta with Craig McTavish and Paul Coffey involved, and all they're showing are brawls. Yep. I feel like you would have fit right in there.
My kind of hockey, yeah, would have been part of all of it, I'm sure. Oh, yeah. We all remember the goalie fight of not too long ago with Talbot and Smith, and that line brawls still happen with the Calgary Flames, and that these teams still don't like each other, which is a beautiful thing. So it's still a great rivalry, was a great rivalry, will continue to be. A little sad that they only play each other 3 times a year.
I know, that sucked. Go ahead.
Like after that second period when Perry grabs Backlund and then you have Nurse chirping with one of the players going off, like I was a little let down in the third period. Now, I know the game is big for both teams, and they're probably like, don't act like an idiot out there. We need the 2 points. But weren't you guys feel a little bit let down after how the second period ended?
Yeah, maybe a little bit, but not not like a ridiculous amount. And I think it was because of knowing what was at stake in the game, and even knowing like Perry took an extra 2 on that.
Yeah.
Right. And he was trying to make a statement about the goaltending, and he's been asked by the media, and fans are talking about, sticking up for the goalies and this and that. So he was trying to make a statement with it, but I think he knew, and everyone knew, listen, these points are important. And for Calgary, they didn't want it to turn stupid, right? Like they wanted to win that hockey game, needed to win that hockey game. And that point, only getting 1 really, really hurts them. Like that absolutely crushes the Calgary Flames. So yeah, I a little disappointed, Hernan, maybe, but I completely understand why there wasn't anything and no extra sparks in that third.
All right, let us know your thoughts. 780-218-9999. The game as a whole, Cass, kind of sloppy, scrambly at times between both teams in the first and second period. It seemed to pick up some pace in the third. How do you think the Oilers came out in this one? And then, how did they handle what was a desperate Calgary team?
Yeah, I think Leon was a boost. There were times like Calgary played a really good game. They slowed Edmonton down quite well at times, played very well defensively and kept it tight. Like it really wasn't an end-to-end game. There was a few breakdowns that happened, but it wasn't like a crazy amount. And if you look at what Edmonton had to do to score, like that beautiful pass, by the way, from Evan Bouchard in the offensive zone.
Yes.
All the people that hate on Bouchard and you shred him for absolutely everything, and they're like, oh, you can't pay this guy $3 million. That's why he's going to get paid over $10 million. Passes like that. I digress. Back to the question and to the point. Calgary played it really tight, and I think for the most part, Edmonton did a good job of not getting sucked in and throwing pucks away.
Right.
They stayed patient. Now maybe you're playing a little bit of Calgary's game there, but it was the type of game. And we talked before about it being a playoff game. Like, did that feel like a playoff game to you guys?
It did not.
No?
I didn't think so.
No. No, maybe not quite from Edmonton's standpoint. I think from Calgary's standpoint, they're playing their style of playoff hockey. But it kind of, and what I appreciate about Edmonton in that game, one of the things is they did just have a patient attitude towards it. Like they didn't try to overforce anything.
Right.
Or, not too often anyways.
Shout out to Evan Bouchard, who actually mixed it up with Mackenzie Wigger in overtime, by the way. I generally mock him, slight him for not engaging in the fisticuffs and physicality, but he did there, and I was pleasantly surprised. So I would like to give some praise to Evan Bouchard for mixing it up with Mackenzie Wigger in OT and not backing down because he's a big boy, and he showed to everybody and himself that when you get punched, you can punch someone back and hurt them too. Well done, Evan Bouchard, on that one. All right, Cass, how much confidence should the Oilers take from tonight's victory moving forward, do you think?
Yeah, I think you're taking some confidence from it. Like Leon's back. That's a pretty big confidence boost. And he scores 50 and 51 in OT to win it. So in commanding fashion, he is back in. Your MVP of the year is back in. Mm-hmm. And I think you pull some confidence from that, and you beat a desperate team. And yes, it took a little bit longer, but coming off of a game where you got absolutely pumped against the Seattle Kraken, I think it is a good confidence building game. Hopefully one they can, get some momentum going, because it kind of feels like you get rewarded. You play a pretty good game against Dallas, don't really get rewarded, claw back into it, don't get rewarded, don't play a good game against Seattle. So it kind of feels like a little bit of a payoff for the group. And so I think it is a positive momentum type game for them. Now we'll have to see, when and if Connor McDavid comes back, because the next one's going to be a really big one too. And it's going to be a big test against a team you very well likely have to go through to make it to the Western Conference Final and to come out of the Pacific Division. So momentum for sure built up off of this one.
All right, let's get to the text line now. 780-218-9999. The Oilers win at 3-2 in overtime. Gazzola, Cassian, and Salas with you here on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream postgame show. Mike in Thunder Bay gets the first word. He is 2 time zones away, says it's Sunday here in Thunder Bay, which means it's my birthday. Thank you, Leon, for the great way to start off my birthday. Mike in Thunder Bay, happy birthday, buddy. Thank you for chiming in. Appreciate it. And yes, Leon Draisaitl did that specifically for you. Let's go to Chris, who says, man, that back check by Bouchard. Who was that guy? Well done. Coach Mike says 50 and 51 MVP. Expletive the Flames, Coach Mike. Let's go to Shaggy in St. Albert, who was not a happy camper going into this game. Shaggy says, another ugly game for the Oilers. Got a lucky OT win, probably limping towards third place. They are losing 3 of 4 on the road trip. Guaranteed losses to Knights and Kings. Will underestimate either Sharks or Ducks. Perry, at least, showed some backbone tonight, although that penalty could have backfired. Glad he got the 50th goal out of the way. In the end, what happens with the last 9 games probably won't change their position in the standings. The playoffs is where they will either fail or succeed. They will need to put up or shut up. Cup or failure, there is no in between. As we know, Shaggy is very demanding of this team. He was negative and not happy earlier. What do we have to say to Shaggy, boys?
It's getting old, man. Seriously. It's getting old, man. Like
Hernan doesn't like it.
No, but like, I mean, it's like we're talking about a last place team here. Like, yeah, they have some holes. Yeah, they're not playing their best. Yeah, they're dealing with injuries, but like constant every game, like they won. Were they perfect tonight? No, they weren't.
No,
they weren't.
But you did enough against a team that was desperate, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're still competing, guys, without McDavid, your best defenseman. Like, that's it. That's all I got for Shaggy in St. Albert. Sorry, man.
That's okay. Hey, don't be sorry. Be Hernan. I want to ask about this. The goals that Calgary did get tonight, Cass, were off the rush.
Yeah.
And we talked like very, very briefly about it before you hopped on. That first goal, because I think Hernan saw some messages saying that's on Bouchard, that's on Bouchard. Yeah. It was a shot from Kadri, gets kicked out by Pickard, and it's Sharon Govich who buries it. I say that's 100% on Max Jones all day, every day, because they got 2 guys that suck towards the wall. What'd you see there?
Oh yeah, no, Jones, he has to recognize that. Puck focused. He's completely puck focused. Doesn't shoulder check. Doesn't. Yeah, I mean, you gotta find your guy there. And Sharon Govich is Jones's guy in that instance. Now, I mean, to commend Jones, he does a great job back checking.
Yeah.
So the first 3 quarters of that play, he does a good job of getting back, but he just doesn't recognize danger at the end. And really, from an overall standpoint, everybody. So I think I'm trying to say who is on the other side. I can't see who is on the other side. But from a forechecking standpoint, you end up with 3 forwards below the goal line. In a 0-0 game in the first period. I know you're trying to be aggressive on the forecheck, and I like that you're trying to be aggressive on the forecheck, but you can't end up with 3 forwards below the goal line when you don't have the puck, and particularly when the goalie's playing it. Right, like because you have someone checking the goalie, that means there's 5 other guys separate there. So kind of from the start of it, puts you in a position where you're having to hustle back and make a read off of a rush. And yeah, Jones just makes a poor read on that, and puck's in the back of the net.
Okay, on the Pahal goal, also off the rush, he was the 4th man in. Oddly enough, or however you want to describe it, guys, Sharon Govich and Pahal, who were healthy scratch the other night, get the goals for Calgary tonight. I suppose you like their gusto if you're a Calgary Flames fan. How do you clean up defending off the rush this late in the season going into the postseason, Cass? Because it seems like I don't know how you do it in such a short period of time.
Yeah.
Is it just about the fundies? Are we working on the fundies?
It is the fundies.
Yeah.
It is the fundies, and there's multiple fundies at play, like on that goal. If we look at, Emberson not dinking around at the blue line, like being hard on the puck and making a play. It starts with that. Or even if we go before that, it starts with the big TV turns by your boy that can't score a real goalie, that does like a big swing down in zone, and so ends up being late coming back. Because if you look at that play, like it's a 3-on-2 with a back tracker, right? That kind of turns into the 3-on-3, and then you have the late guy coming in, so it's a 4-on-3 coming in late. So if you look at how the defensemen played it, they actually played it okay. Like I think it's Henrique coming back, backtracking, applying pressure. Like he plays that okay. It's a kind of a 2-on-1 in front. You have Emberson that comes back to play that net front guy, but you can just see like your boy and as he comes into the shot, like he coasts the entire way from the blue line in. And
That's so not like him.
So not like him. Yeah, the ultimate warrior, Matthias Janmark. It's fun, but it's fundamentals. Like it's the mistakes at the blue line, turns on the forecheck, doing big loopy turns, not moving your feet, tracking back. Like it's stuff that you shouldn't have to go over at this point in the year, but you do. Yeah. And the Oilers, for whatever reason, this is the part of the game that they really struggle with. And we've talked about it multiple times, guys. Like they struggle defending against the rush. And this is just another example. So how do you clean it up? I don't know, Tom. Work on the fundies, yell at them a little bit more, show them video.
Yeah.
Let Hernan into the room and let him talk to them.
Oh, baby.
That might be my pick.
Yeah.
Pickard bailed him out. Pickard bailed him out like 3 times today, boys.
A couple times too. Yeah.
Yeah, he was really solid.
Yeah, he certainly was. A big win for Calvin Pickard, just the second against the Calgary Flames. Dustin Wolf, I thought, was really good, did everything he could to keep Calgary in it, and does pick up a point for his team. All right, a couple texts. We got Cass for a few more minutes here. It's a late one tonight. Oilers 3-2 winners in overtime. Draisaitl goals 50 and 51, 4 50-goal seasons for the Deutschland Dangler. Jimmy O texting in. Jimmy O says, although they won, still too many passengers. If Leon didn't score, they would have only scored 1 goal in 2 consecutive games. Players who weren't in the playoffs last year have no excuse. What would you guys say to Jimmy O's comment there?
They won the hockey game, Jimmy. And I get you're concerned about scoring goals through 2 games, but let's just write off that Kraken game because they all played horrible.
Oh, that was terrible.
Right. So let's look back. Like you just gotta eliminate that one. And you can't be like, but they only scored 2 goals in 2 games. Like, no, just forget about that Seattle game because they were horrible. And we write that one completely off. It's gone. Bye-bye. See you later. And so we look to the Dallas game into this one. And, it feels like we're right back to that. And then, but Draisaitl's the only one scoring. But, the last number of games, you haven't had Draisaitl and McDavid. And there's been some games where they've done some good things offensively. So, I don't know. I pitched that one for me a little bit.
Well, there's this guy named Joaquin Gauget, I think he's French, who wrote in, can no one else score on this team? So he thinks along the same lines as Jimmy.
Walker's turned, man. He's turned heel. I don't know what's going on.
He has major heel turn for sure.
I think he's just doing it for S&Gs because he wants to have fun. I think he just wants to amuse himself. But I thought that was funny. Joaquin dipping into the mezcal tonight, I think. Or is it a good tequila? I don't know. But thank you, Gager, for the text. I hope I pronounced your name properly. The Liquid Beaver texting in says, although they... Oh, that was Liquid Beaver. Greg the Sound Guy says, hell of a win. Absolutely needed that one. Not a great game by a stretch, but take the 2 points and run. Next time I listen in will be after golf in Arizona on Tuesday. Eat crap. Calgary. Greg the Sound Guy used an expletive. I'm not going to do that. Have fun in Zona, Greg. And if it gets really hot, I don't know if it's super hot yet, but a nice towel dipped in ice water every couple holes on your head, on your neck, on your face, and you'll be good to go, my friend. That's how you do it in AZ. Buzz in Nebraska sending in a picture. Our new dog is happily dancing to La Bamba, that poor pooch, having a good time. I'm assuming that's Buzz in Nebraska's daughter that is dancing with the doggy. Great picture there. All right, keep those texts coming in. We've got a lot to get to. 780-218-9999. The Oilers do defeat the Calgary Flames 3-2 in overtime. Draisaitl, a pair of goals. Arvidsson, the other one. And 2 important points for the Oil. Put a dagger into the hearts of the Flames' playoff hopes. Get to the nasty chat as well. Cass, a 4-game road trip looming. It starts with your Pacific Division foes, heated rivals, the Vegas Golden Knights, who have 98 points now. They're going to run away with the Pacific Division, unfortunately. And then you get San Jose Thursday, LA on Saturday, and Anaheim on Monday. How do you approach Tuesday? What do you think about this road trip? I know we'll be talking throughout the week too.
Yeah, well, you're starting to get playoff ready here, guys. I mean, you're in the last month of the regular season come Tuesday, and let's hope it's not an April Fool's type of game against the Vegas Golden Knights. But you're looking at this road trip, and really it's the last road trip of the season. And I know you have 2 more road games, one against Winnipeg, another one on the 16th against San Jose. But those are just short, the one-day little trips. This is the last road trip of the season before the playoffs start. And I think you're trying to get into that playoff mindset of being on the road for a couple days, and you're playing two of the teams that, again, you very well likely have to go through. You know, you're going to most likely, barring some crazy thing happening, be playing LA. Good chance you're playing Vegas too in the second round if you beat LA. So you're trying to get prepped here. You know, you're not trying to intimidate these teams. I don't think you're not trying to, you mentally. I don't think it matters towards the other team. Like these games, you're not going to intimidate Vegas by playing Vegas well and beating them. But mentally for yourself, you're going to start to prepare yourself to go to war with these teams, and mentally for you to say that, oh yeah, we can beat these teams, we can play well against them. This is what it's going to take. So it's all about preparation now, guys. It's about getting ready for the playoffs. Getting guys healthy is going to be a big part of it, and your last roadie of the year. So enjoy the dinners with the boys because there's not many of them left.
Oh baby, I do have a quick follow up for you, Cass. And I was just thinking about this as you're going through that. How much different of a team is the one we saw tonight, the one we'll probably see on Tuesday against Vegas, from the Oilers team that plays in round one, that plays in potentially round two against LA and Vegas? Because there's a lot of guys missing. Yeah. And how much can that factor in? Because right now they're missing some pillars, man. Yep.
Yeah. I think it all depends on the outcome of the game. It all depends on the outcome of the game. And what I mean by that is, this is what I'm saying to myself. If we go in and we play Vegas on Tuesday, McDavid's out, Skinner's out, Ekholm's out. Let's just say those guys are all out. Frederick's out.
Maybe
so 4 guys out.
Yeah.
Yep. And you come in and you get whooped. Well, you're like, man, it's all right. We didn't have our guys. We're going to have our guys next time. We didn't have our guys. So it's like you're going to convince yourself that that's the reason why.
Yeah.
Just to mentally be like, oh, yeah, they don't got us. Now, if you go in and you win, the self-talk is going to be, oh, yeah, and we didn't even have our guys, right? We didn't even have our guys, and we still came in and we won. So it's like you're going to be doing a little bit of mental gymnastics either way, depending on what happens, because really it is probably going to be different. Like, again, we don't know exactly who's going to play, if Skinner's back or not, McDavid, Ekholm, all those guys. But regardless, it's going to look a little bit different come playoff time. You're going to have hopefully everybody in the lineup. And, if it is Vegas in the second round, there's even more time after that. So who knows, is Evander Kane going to be ready at that point? We don't know yet. So it's going to be different. I think as a team mindset, you really want to take the cliche of next man up and run with it, which they most likely will do. And that, just stick with the process, which we hear all the time. And again, cliche is all heck, but it's cliche for a reason because that's what they're going to be saying and repeating themselves over and over again.
Yep. Hey, I'll tell you one thing. By the playoffs, we'll have our lineup, and this is our A team, and we're going to be ready to go, bringing it, as always, on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pre- and post-game show. Mr. Matt Cassian, you were tremendous as always, my friend. Go get some rest and enjoy your Sunday, okay?
Thank you, guys. You too.
That is our game analyst, Matt Cassian, with the breakdown, brought to you by South Fort Chevrolet. Drive a little, save a lot down at South Fort. Go say hi to Claire and Daniel and the crew at South Fort. They are fantastic. All right. Nanso, any news and notes you'd like to pass along? Or have you seen anything that we want to get to before I read some more texts?
Nothing. Nothing out of the room either. So still waiting on that.
Okay.
I do have some stats courtesy Brian Swain.
Swainer. What does Swainer have for us for tonight?
Stat of the night, Jeff Skinner's 5 hits. First time he's had more than 3 hits in a game since April 7th, 2012. How about that?
What? Okay, say that to me again.
Jeff Skinner's 5 hits tonight is the first time he's had more than 3 hits in a game since April 7th, 2012.
April 7th, 2012. First time that he's had more than 3?
Yeah.
Wow. Does Swainer have anything else?
Yes, he says Draisaitl, McDavid, and Glenn Anderson are all tied for most game-winning goals in franchise history with 72. And then he adds, the record holder will be decided in a triple threat match at WrestleMania. He's joking, of course. But
that's a great one.
yeah, so who gets? Well, it's probably Draisaitl, to be honest.
Smart money's on Leon. Obviously.
Yeah. So,
Great text.
What a stat, man. I couldn't believe it when I was reading it.
I shouldn't be this surprised, but I still am.
That's
like sometimes some buildings you bump into a guy and they're like, oh, that's a hit. We're going to put one down. Just depends on like the criteria of the off-ice officials. So Jeff Skinner, 5 hits tonight. First time he's had 3 or more hits in a game since April 7th, 2012. Swainer with a good dig there.
That's like
well done, Brian.
Years, man. Jeez. Oh, great stuff, man. Great. Tommy, does this bury Calgary? There's 7 points back. 10 games to go. That's hard to make up, man.
Yeah, they're done.
Because I keep saying St. Louis is going to fall off. But obviously, they're not.
No.
They've won 9 straight now. And they're tied with Minnesota, Tommy.
I know. They're done. Unless Minnie absolutely unravels. Like, Minnie's still 5-4-1 in the last 10.
Yeah. You think Canucks are done?
So many injuries. I do.
Yeah,
I do. Canucks 1 more point than Calgary, but they played 1 more game. Yeah. Calgary has 10 games remaining to make up 7 points. That's a steep hill to climb, man. That's a steep hill to climb. So I think tonight, maybe it wasn't the kill shot that we thought it would be, but let's say critical wound for the Calgary Flames and the team's playoff hopes. That's how I would describe it. Do we have any audio to get to from the room yet or no?
I will have Leon in about a minute and a half here.
2 shakes of a lamb tail, as you like to say?
2 shakes of a lamb's tail. I'll have it for you, Tommy.
All right, let's get to some text. 780-218-9999. Get to the nasty chat. As well as we roll on here on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show. 3-2 overtime win for the Oilers. Draisaitl gets goals 50 and 51. 4-time 50-goal scorer. He has been an absolute machine for the Oilers this season. Library Pat says there were some blemishes for sure, but they didn't give up a gallon of goals in the second period. Baby steps. A W for the Orange and Blue. Welcome back, Draisaitl, Library Pat. And Library Pat, that was something we talked about on the pregame show. They had terrible second periods in their last 2 games, and today they cleaned it up and survived. Didn't give up multiple goals in the second. And look at that. They kept themselves close, did give up the lead, but then eventually tied it and won it in OT. Jocelyn chiming in. Jocelyn says, Tommy, Oilers won. Let's be happy. Leon hit 51 goals. A W in the Battle of Alberta. Kings lost. Let's go, says Jocelyn. Jocelyn, great to hear from you. Say hi to Jay. Ryan from Saskatchewan says, fellas, 29 is an absolute animal. Great to see him back. Having said that, I am very concerned about the Oilers game right now. Regardless of the win tonight, it is very disconnected in a lot of ways. Give the Flames credit. They play hard, but the Oilers need to find a spark here, as it is not good enough right now, in my opinion. Hoping for some bodies to get back. That's from Ryan in Sask. And Ryan in Sask, I can't disagree with you. Can't disagree with you at all. It's not a pretty overall game. Hasn't been for a good chunk of the last couple of months. Sort of patch it together some nights, like tonight. Maybe they can get some momentum going in these last 10. We'll see. Or last 9, I should say. Russian Spa Guy, great handle. Love that one. Says, great game and needed win. Knobloch needs to recognize that similar to the power play experiment a few years ago, Nurse shouldn't see the ice. 3-on-3. Let's go to Hockey Girl. Hockey Girl says, oh, how I missed you guys, especially you, Trev. Hockey Girl, it's been a while, huh? Not since June 24th, 2024. What happened that day? I can't remember. I don't think it was a good day in oil country. But Hockey Girl, Trev's on the morning show now. Hernan, unless you think that the feisty Latino is still Trev. He's good looking too, but that's Hernan Salas. Good to have you back, Hockey Girl. We haven't gone anywhere. We're still here, and we're here for you, as always. Jeff in YYZ says, Wunderbar! MVP, there you are. Dr. Dry, superstar. Jeff in YYZ. And then Andrew, the accountant, says, as Eric Macramella would say, Evan Bouchard was not a low-energy loser like Jed Bush. Thank you, Andrew, the accountant. Thank you for that Macramella reference. Hernan.
We have Leon, 50 goal guy.
50 goal guy. Let's go to him.
All right, here's Leon Draisaitl.
You get 50 and 51, significant numbers, but huge goals in that game. Does that make it even a little more special?
Yeah, I mean, the tight games are always a little bit more special, a little bit more fun to be in, and I thought we played well for the most part, hung in there, and obviously sometimes you have to win those games as well.
Maybe just a thought on the pass from Bouchard on the wall there.
Yeah, it's elite hockey sense. You know, that kickstarts the entire play, obviously, and then Heimo actually made a really nice subtle play on the defenseman's stick to give me the time to change the angle a bit. So lots of good plays on that goal.
You had some shots at Wolf that he stopped during the game, and then you got your 50th on, coming down the wing on him. Did you do something different? Did you just pick a better spot? How come
yeah, I didn't really hit my spots on those 2-2-on-1s, to be honest. And the second one, he made a really nice stop. So, yeah, it was nice that it ended up going in.
Sorry to interrupt. You said something this morning that was interesting. You said that you've been a passer your whole life and you had to really work on your scoring game. Now you're a 50-goal guy almost, most years. How does that happen? How does a kid who grows up a passer turn into this guy?
Well, first of all, when you have great passers around you, then you're going to start shooting a little bit more, and you get a little bit extra time in certain spots. So, yeah, that's my explanation.
It's legendary around here that, when Sidney Crosby worked on a shot, firing it into the laundry machine. How did you work on your quick release to shot? What did you do?
I mean, I work on it daily. I put myself in different situations in practice. And sometimes it's instinctual a little bit, so yeah, just constantly trying to improve it.
I know the game wasn't perfect for the group, but did you like the kind of emotion level that you got?
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, that's an urgent group over there. Obviously, they're in a fight, so and so are we. So I thought it was great the way we stuck with it. I thought that was really well done. And sometimes they're not all pretty, but I thought we played a solid game.
Yeah, are there elements of that game that you're trying to find and integrate back in as the playoffs get closer here?
I mean, those are the type of games we're going to have to win, right? 3-2, tight checking, good hockey, good defensive hockey. So getting comfortable in these situations is big right now.
Will you phone anyone? Sorry, Rob. Will you phone anyone? Is there someone you call when you get your 50th goal?
No. Sure, I'll get a call from my old man, but maybe my mom too. But yeah, looking forward to that.
Scoring 50 is always great, but to score 50 with 2 minutes left to force overtime and then 51 to win it, I mean, that's some storybook stuff. How much sweeter can that be?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're all special in their own way, right? But obviously in that moment, to find one, especially the way the game has gone, is nice, and yeah, it feels good.
Yeah, I bet it does. Made a lot of people very happy tonight. Leon Draisaitl goals 50 and 51. Oh, by the way, he adds his 53rd assist of the year. Give Draisaitl 104 points now this season. Boy, did they miss him. And if they could get Connor McDavid back. And if they could get their top defenseman, Matthias Alcom, back and somewhat healthy. And
Trent
what
Frederick.
about and get Trent Frederick back in their number one goalie, playing like he did last season, not really like he did all season long. And maybe Evander Kane comes. Oh, the possibilities are scintillating.
They're endless.
Scintillating, tantalizing.
Ooh, you get Stuart Skinner back too. Your number one goaltender.
How about that? How about that?
All that, man.
How about that? Let's go to Sheldon. Says, what a cheeky dry move in overtime before the goal. The subtle, purposeful slowdown, reverse hit to pop Kadri, then speeds up ice to net the winner. Pissy dry is my favorite dry. Sasky. Sheldon, this text out of Vancouver says, I hope the person who received medical assistance. Yeah, it was... the arena was respectfully quiet. Good for the Oilers to be able to focus on that event. Kudos to the medical staff. Yes, we're not going to say much about it. Very scary to see. It was a weird night in the building, and we hope everybody involved is okay. Kudos indeed to all the staff at the rink and the medical team that were there to provide assistance. We're going to just leave it at that for tonight. Let's go to Troll, who says, I'm here for the attitude era of EST, Gage and YTT, both doing heel turns recently. I love it. And then this text says, old school pad stack by Pickard was highlight that needs some Sportsnet time. How many times have the Oilers scored the first goal, came back to win? Yeah, they scored first. Let's see. I can look it up for you, actually. I have it right here. Scoring first, Edmonton, 26, 7, and 5. So that's 33 plus 5. That's 38 times out of 73. Slightly over 50%, if my math is correct.
That was a good save.
That was a great save. Yeah, absolutely.
Go back to it.
Yeah,
that was quite cool.
I like the saves on Farabee. All right, Reid Rick is ready to go. Let's get Reid Wilkins in here, fresh from the arena. You catch Reid from 3 to 6, Monday to Friday, with Jay Milne on the Reid Wilkins Show. Reid Rick, what are your takeaways from tonight's 3-2 overtime victory for the Oilers over the Calgary Flames?
I think Leon Draisaitl is having one of the best seasons in the history of the Edmonton Oilers. That's what I think.
Okay, thank you for your time, Sue.
That is my headline. Okay.
I'm kidding. You came out guns a-blazing there. I like it. What's going on?
Well, that's the headline. This is an incredible season. Mm-hmm. And, you know, as a kid and then a teen, I saw a lot of good ones in the late 80s and a little bit into the 90s. Mm-hmm. You know, and there's been some good performances from guys like Doug Waite, and when they weren't a very good team, and now we've seen, you know, McDavid have 100 points in the 56-game season and score over 60 goals, and Hyman score 54, and other big seasons from Draisaitl. But I think what is, you know, I know there might be some recency bias because I mean we're all in the middle of witnessing this. But the magnitude of the goals Leon has scored all season long, overtime goals, tying goals, just when you needed something, he's been able to do it. And tonight's the greatest example. I mean, this game was on the verge of being not a disastrous weekend for the Oilers, but a harmful weekend. Like, it could have been Vancouver got a point, Calgary got 2, and Edmonton got 0.
Yep.
And I know they still would have had a gap in the playoff race, but then that's worrisome where you're not getting points and you have guys out of the lineup. And like a Michael Jordan-esque performance by Draisaitl. I will tie the game dramatically and then I will win it for you with a clutch shot. Like, and on a goalie who'd won a couple other mano-a-mano battles with Draisaitl tonight, and he still comes through. So this is just a really special season. And on top of the magnitude of the goals, let's face it, I know he plays with McDavid sometimes, and I know he's on the power play. But Draisaitl has produced a lot of big goals with two wingers who are underperforming.
Good point.
And actually, it's more than two, but he can only have 2 at a time. But a lot of the wingers that have played with Draisaitl have not been near, and in some cases nowhere near, their expectations. He's had Arvidsson. He's had Jeff Skinner. He's had Pud Colson, who works hard, but as we've talked about, doesn't really produce a lot.
Nope.
And tonight, I thought, you know, it was a very weird game. It was very scrambly at times. I thought, you know, there were a lot of kind of bungled plays, I thought, by both teams at times. But when Draisaitl was on the ice, the Oilers were better. Like that, what's the difference in the game? The Oilers had Draisaitl and the Flames didn't. And a lot of, you know, some Flames, like Kadri had a good game. You know, Wolf was very good again, but the Oilers had Draisaitl and he made the plays. Every time he was on the ice, it shifted in favor of the Oilers, or you felt like he was maybe going to make something happen. And then he just came through in the end. I mean, he's just having an absolutely amazing season. I don't even know how many overtime is. What does he have? 4 or 5 overtime goals just this season? He's got to have half of their.
I will look it up for you, Reid Rick.
And I realize, you know, I was listening to some of the texts on the way home. There are things to be concerned about.
Yes.
Do they have the lowest regulation wins of any team currently in a playoff spot? They might. Did they even have less than Montreal?
Here, I have that as well. Jeez, you're asking for so many things, Reid. They have regulation, OT wins, regulation wins. They are sitting at, where are they here? 30.
Right.
That's so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 teams ahead of them.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember when I did the adjusted standings during the Four Nations face-off, where I did the 3-2-1.0 point system that they were using in the Four Nations face-off.
Yep.
The only team whose spot dramatically changed was the Oilers. At that time, they dropped from 3rd overall to 7th. Every other team didn't move by more than a spot. So that's why the NHL doesn't change it, because they say, well, the standings wind up the same, but the Oilers would be lower down. But anyway, Draisaitl's incredible. I mean, it was magnificent to watch him play tonight.
6th OT goal this season.
Yeah, see, I can't remember them all. Philly, Detroit, Islanders, this one too, I can't remember. Just remarkable.
There you go. Reid, are there any other positives that you would take from this game outside of Draisaitl being outstanding and supernova?
Yes, I thought Calvin Pickard was excellent.
Yeah.
He made several big saves. Was it Frost that had the breakaway that then led to that? Farabee. Pardon me. He actually made 2 saves.
Yes.
And I think Farabee hit his spot on the first shot. I mean, that was a great save. He made several other very good or important saves, and he held it to 2. Like if the Oilers lose this game 2-1, I don't think he could fault the goaltending. I mean, he kept it to 2, and he just battles in there, right? I mean, he's coming off a night where he had to come in unexpectedly when Skinner got hurt, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he has to be the goalie when they're just getting bombed in Seattle, and he just comes out and was excellent, solid. And you know what? I know the Oilers are coming off several years with Mike Smith. Pickard plays the puck pretty well, and he's way better than Stuart Skinner. Like, I would consider Stuart Skinner a poor puck handler for a goaltender. So
he's more than willing, but he's bad. Yeah,
but Pickard actually gets out there and make plays. So I think he was good tonight. I heard the stat about Jeff Skinner when you started saying that's the most hits he's had. I thought you were going to say that's the most hits he's had in a season, was having 5 in a game, but he is starting to dig in a little bit more, and hopefully can play a little bit more of a playoff style. Arvidsson is still makes some weird decisions to me in the offensive end, but he wants to shoot the puck, and that got him a goal tonight. And that one in the third period maybe goes in if it's not blocked, because Wolf was moving across.
Yeah.
So there were, it wasn't a great game. Like I said, it was kind of bumbly at times by both teams, but I thought also, though, there were a lot of Oilers players and some important players who were going to play a lot down the stretch into the playoffs who had some solid, if they didn't have a solid game, they had solid stretches within the game. So that was good to see.
780-218-9999. I have a weird stat for you. It's not it's Oilers related, but Ryan McLeod has 17 goals this year, Reid and Hernan. And guess how many hits?
17.
16.
That's stunning.
So I'll just say.
Yeah, it's a weird stat. I didn't realize he was up to that many goals, because didn't he start well and then tail off, and now I guess he's got some goals again.
Yeah.
Can I throw in a couple other things?
Absolutely.
Corey Perry, I think you guys talked, because I think when I got in my car, Cass might have just been wrapping up a thought on it. Good for Corey Perry to walk the walk.
Yep.
I know that started with a little bit of a bump on Pickard, and then
a snow shower, I think.
And then Anderson, I wasn't sure who Anderson pulled down. If it was Kulak, I thought it was Kapanen at first, but somebody told me it was Kulak. But
it could have been Kulak.
And then as soon as Perry saw that, he was like, okay, I'm starting something here.
Yeah.
So good for him. I know it cost the Oilers a power play that could have hurt them.
They killed it.
I actually didn't like the refs not evening up that situation, because quite frankly, I think you know how I feel about Rasmus Andersson.
You love him.
Okay. Anyway,
I'm kidding.
Like that was a horse collar tackle in football. Like he dragged him down by the back of his jersey.
I know.
And then I guess they chose not to give Backlund a penalty for eating punches, but I thought that should have been evened up in that situation, or Anderson should have got an extra minor, quite frankly, because that was kind of a cheap play. Hyman was hooked, or tripped, and that's what I think frustrates me and probably frustrates a lot of fans. And I don't want to turn this into a referee bitch session because, you could do that every game if you want to nitpick about everything. But that call, Hyman is entering a scoring area. Like he's trying to cut in front of the net and he gets pulled down. And what frustrated me there was he was obviously impeded. And then you see several other fractions called throughout the course of the season where a guy's like going to shoot and he still gets the shot away and there's like a little tap on his glove or between his hands on the stick. And they call that slashing or hooking. And you're like, okay, I guess technically, but the guy still got the shot off. And then you see that. And then it made it worse for Oilers fans that Podkolzin is called for tripping after that, which was a trip. I mean, you shouldn't let that go just because you let another one go. And then Hyman felt he was hooked by Backlund on that centering pass from Draisaitl where he knifed it over the net as well. So it was a little frustrating to me that those weren't called. I'm not making this about the refs, but I thought in those situations, given the quality of what the Oilers were trying to produce on those plays, the rules were not correctly enforced.
Hey, I'll ask one more for you, Reid. The Oilers embark on a 4-game road trip. It starts with a big one against the Golden Knights on Tuesday, then the Sharks Thursday, Kings next Saturday, 2 p.m. start, by the way. And then they finish it up in Anaheim on Monday the 7th. How do you look at this road trip? How do you look at this game coming up on Tuesday?
Well, it's very difficult, and I am going to stick with what I said on my show on Friday, where I was presenting a path to the Oilers missing the playoffs. Not a likely path, but a path.
So negative.
Well, it's just because I said, what if they go 3-7? What if Draisaitl, McDavid, and Ekholm either don't return or aren't near 100%? That's concerning. Now, Draisaitl looks fine. We really don't know about Ekholm and McDavid. We're not even sure if McDavid's going to travel, according to what Knobloch said. And Pickard's going to be the goalie again on Tuesday. Now, as this has been a wonderful year for Pickard.
Yes.
But when he had to start back-to-back Carolina, Anaheim about a month ago, his second game wasn't as good, right? So I think and Vegas, they like feasting on the Oilers, anybody, but there's a bit of a rivalry there. And they're going to want to try to jump on the Oilers. So it's a tough road trip. I really think 500 would be great. And then by that time, you'd kind of almost have a playoff spot clinched, depending on how Calgary and Vancouver do. Talking to a couple of Calgary broadcasters today, they were saying, because I think they have 4 games in hand on Minnesota or St. Louis.
Let's see here.
So that's still the hope that they're selling.
They have 3 games in hand on the Blues, 2 on Minnesota.
But they're 7 points behind the Blues.
Yeah.
This was a massive blow.
Yep.
And even for the Canucks last night to have a 3-0 lead and a 5-3 lead, I think, and then wind up losing 7-6. That's tough. But I think if the Oilers can go 500 on this trip and play well and hopefully get some healthy players back, that would be huge.
Did you talk to Patrick Steinberg?
I didn't really get to. I just got to wave to him. I just got to wave to him when he was doing the pregame show, and then during intermissions he was on air, so I didn't really get to talk to him. He was on my show yesterday, though. He's a great guy.
I know. I was talking to Patrick Steinberg. We might go for a beer tonight if we have time. I think he said he's on the air till 12:30. But what a beauty that Pat Steinberg. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, so are you, by the way.
Well, as are you, and as is Hernan.
Hernan's awesome. I love Hernan. He's the best. Reid, thank you as always, my friend. Great analysis, and enjoy your Sunday. We'll see you on Monday, okay?
Okay, see you, Tom.
Bye, Reid.
Hernan.
There you go, Reid Wilkins from the Reid Wilkins Show. You can catch that right here on Edmonton Sports Talk Monday to Friday with Jay Milne. Great drive time show. Honestly, love it. We have fantastic programming now with the ST Afternoons with Joaquin Gage and the Latino Heat, Hernan Salas. And then from 3 to 6, it's Reid and Jay on the Reid Wilkins Show. Nancito, you want to get to the player of the game?
Sure.
Okay.
I wonder who it's going to be.
Oh, call it a hunch, but I think it might be Kasperi Cap. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. David Bunting, real estate player of the game. David Bunting, consistent top producing realtor in the greater Edmonton area for over 17 years. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. Senor Latino Heat, take it away.
Yeah, 22-24 time on ice, 8 shots on net, +3 rating, 2 goals, 1 assist. Returning from injury, Leon Draisaitl. Damon Bunting, player of the game,
Straight
for
up.
the agency, hit 51 goals, is at 104 points, should win the Hart. Leon Draisaitl. There's no one else I could have picked. Pickard, honorable mention.
That's a good one. I like that. Some big saves. In the game, Conroe, Texas feels the same way as you do, Latino Heat. Conroe, Texas says, I am now thinking that Leon is comfortable taking this team on his back instead of deferring to Connor. Shake and Bake is alive and well in Edmonton. Taco texting in says, when the oil went down in the third, my stomach sank. We were lucky to pull out this win. No matter what, a win versus the Flames is a great feeling. Now I'm off to watch The White Lotus. Signed, Taco. Taxman texts in, says, Tommy, Hernan. So glad the boys pulled it out. Thought for a bit Wolf had Dry's number, but you can't keep the German Gretzky down forever. Love the diving play by Podkolzin. If you don't remember, he broke up a potential breakaway. Love to see Leo back. Sloppy, but we'll take it. Grab the good vibes and carry on. And then Troll says, Flames have 2 games in hand on Minnesota and play them once. That's what my coworkers are clinging to. And Troll also said, when did Ryan McLeod start hitting so much? LOL. Well played. 17 goals and 16 hits for Ryan McLeod this season.
That's
great guy. Obviously, the physical aspect of the game is not something he excels in.
He's just a little vanilla.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
It's okay, though.
C Run gives Corey Perry an honorable mention as well via the nasty chat.
Yes.
Jodes, yep, absolutely. Jodes says, nice setup by Skinner in OT. Good time to defer to Draisaitl for sure on a 3-on-2. And then I saw one that I laughed at earlier. It's from Oilers fan 937. And I quote, Tom sometimes mocks Bouch? No way. Bro literally poops on him every day, laughing my ass off. Literally is gross. Figuratively, more like it. And it's not every day, just when he makes stupid mistakes that directly result in goals against Oilers fan 937. I appreciate you getting into the nasty chat very much. Nancito, final thoughts from you.
Yeah, tough road trip coming up. Sounds like McDavid will not be on it.
Did we get an update?
No, but I think they didn't. He said they still haven't decided. I think he said this morning if he's
right.
Gonna go. So we'll wait to hear on that. Ekholm status, Stuart Skinner status. So lots up in the air right now. But I mean, I still think this team is good enough. They got Leon back. I think this win is going to give them a lot of confidence, and they're going to go into Vegas, buddy. And you better show up, and you better compete like you did tonight in that third and overtime. You mocked it up a bit. Everybody got involved. That's what you're going to need. So we'll see what they can do on this road trip. I agree with Reid. I think 500 with the roster they have right now is that's probably the realistic way we got to look at it, man.
I hope they go 3-1. 2-1-1, but we'll see how things go. They do get the Ducks and the Sharks. They have lost to the Ducks this season badly, and then 2 very tough opponents in the Golden Knights and the Kings on this upcoming 4-game road trip. Hey, really quickly, Hernan. Leon Draisaitl now at 51 goals. The next closest player is Willie Nylander at 42. Do you think that Draisaitl is the only 50-goal man this season? Nylander has 9 games left, or at least the Leafs do, to get 8 goals.
Yeah, I think he's the only one. And with what the Oilers now have 9 games left, Tom? I think so.
8. 9. 9. Sorry.
Can Leon hit 60?
Maybe not this year. Maybe not this year.
It'd be awesome if he did.
Hey, he keeps playing like that, he will. That's for sure.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, that was a fun show. I really enjoyed that. Big thank you to everybody who tuned in, whether it was on iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, of course, EdmontonSportsTalk.com's audio player, and to those who watched us on YouTube. You guys are awesome. Hit that thumbs up button on your way out. The Oilers win it 3-2 in overtime. Draisaitl, goal 50, goal 51. Pickard, solid. Arvidsson, the other one. The Oilers hand Dustin Wolf his first loss versus Edmonton in his first start against the Orange and Blue. The Oilers now at 42, 26, and 5. Good for 89 points. They set their sights on the Vegas Golden Knights Tuesday in Sin City. For Matt Cassian and Reid Wilkins. Oh, and by the way, the Latino Heat, Hernan, Salas. I'm Tom Gazzola saying have yourselves a lovely rest of the weekend. Have a great night. Be safe, everyone. Ciao for now.